Ask Reddit. Students of Reddit, what was your school's big scandal? Someone baked their grandma's ashes into cookies and fed them to students. Edit. Here's a video of an interview with one of the kids who ate a cookie. The video is at the top of the article. The headline was "Cookies and Cremation? Shame. I'd have gone with another one bites the dust." Some students put pins into the sewing teacher's coffee. Luckily the teacher was okay, but it definitely could have been worse. You had a sewing teacher. A kid was trying to get initiated into the Bloods. Part of this is committing a serious act of violence, so he brought a Glock to school and tried to kill the school resource officer. Principal tackled him the second he saw him pull out the pistol. Everybody hated the principal until that day. We were on CNN that night. A woman with severe medical issues, both physical and mental deficiencies, snuck away from her group home and hid in the broom closet of our cafeteria for 2 days. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. This was in 2007. We didn't have cameras or anything and no one saw her go in or out. They only knew she was there because the jacket had the name of the high school, and when she was found she straight up told the police she had been hiding in there for 2 days. The group home said she had been missing for roughly a day and a half. Parents were upset obviously, but nothing changed until last year when the school shut down due to low enrollment. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. Power move. This actually came out during my last semester there, but it had been happening for years. One of the English teachers had been having sex with a few select students every year. Most were football players. It got really weird. When I had her class, it wouldn't be out of place if a student from another class asked to go to the bathroom and just went to her room to see her. One day some kid brought her a drink from McDonald's because he was late to school and got breakfast. It only came out because there was this one girl who was in an argument with her for some reason and said something along the lines of, "That's why you duck your students." And the whole incident got brought up to the office and they interviewed everyone. Found out she'd had sex with multiple students for the past few years. Edit. I've been getting a lot of comments asking if this was in. All I'll say is that it was in Georgia. The summer after I graduated, the principal was caught propositioning underage teenage male prostitutes. I'm sorry, what? He liked to have sex with boys under the age of 18. He was caught trying to buy it, but I understand he was not above looking for it closer to home. That is, within the high school he was the principal of. My history teacher blackmailed the girls who weren't doing so good on his class. He exchanged good grades for nudes. How did everyone find out? I don't know the exact facts, but the official story is a student was using his girlfriend's phone and found the chat with the teacher. Then he took it to the school administration and shit hit the fan. Ducking, yikes. Imagine finding your girlfriend's nudes sent to your ducking teacher. In middle school, the athletics director was caught putting cameras in the girls' locker room. Our female pet teacher in 6th grade was caught touching the girls. Then, a male high school pet teacher and wrestling coach got busted for porn and touching kids and set himself on fire in his home. I was in the showers are no longer mandatory, and please wear swim trunks in the pool generation. Even as a kid I could tell something was wrong with both of them, and now looking back, I wonder how many social cues I missed. Like if I was an unaware daydreaming kid and still felt weirded out, what would have registered as an adult? Or one of the kids' parents? Even hearing stories about the female pet teacher always had me thinking other adults don't do these things, why does she? Nobody who would ever harm a kid would walk into a private room full of naked kids, right? Jesus duck. And not just that, to scout leaders, 2 priests, 2 doctors and a cop, and however many clergy the church was covering up for. And for such a small town, all of us were so close together and everyone around us were ducking monsters. I'm pretty sure my high school English teacher had serious relationships with at least 5 girls from junior to senior year, and that's just who I knew. I can't imagine however many others I never heard about, like locked door lunches type deal. I guess the biggest scandal was when a teacher tried to kill herself and failed. Did she come back to work after that? Also, was it a drama teacher? Nah, health. Damn, stereotyping failed me again. At the end of my senior year, we had bomb threats about 2 to 3 times a week. One of them was written in lipstick on the mirror of one of the girls' bathrooms. It said, "Bomb Manana." It was so ridiculous. Sheet like this had us standing out in a grass field for hours while the police checked the building. Were they trying to say Manana? Lol. Hahaha yes. That's what made it so ridiculous. Well, obviously they were trying to get out of failing a Spanish test. My high school did a block lunch where everyone ate lunch at the same time instead of separating them into A, B, C lunches. Because our cafeteria couldn't fit the entire student body, it was normal for kids to be eating in the hallway, on the floor, or at tables all throughout the school. One day during lunch, unbeknownst to the staff and student body, our rep decided to hold a lockdown drill. He got on the intercom and told everyone there was an active shooter in the cafeteria in order to see how kids would react had it been a real shooting. Turned into pure anarchy. Kids calling 911, running out of school, and not returning to class after the drill was over. Kids having anxiety attacks while hiding in classrooms. Dying calls from students to parents. It was pretty bad. Should I mention how this was 2 days after the Parkland shooting? Edit. Grandma. Bro, did he get fired? Nap just got some local news coverage and had to issue an apology over the intercom the next day. From there on out each drill had heavy disclaimers. It was in 2007, but my high school had a string of bomb threats. There was a bathroom where no cameras could see who went in or out, and someone wrote in Sharpie across one of the stall doors, "There's a bomb in the school with that day's date." The school was evacuated, and we all went home. For the next few months, there was a bomb threat seemingly every Friday. We'd be in the middle of the first or second period, then we'd all go home. After we missed enough days, we all had to come in on several Saturdays, and the bomb threats stopped. We also had a bunch of bomb threats around the same time, but they caught the guy doing it. I guess he had a couple of tests he didn't want to do, so he used the bomb threats to force an evacuation to get extra time. The school held a special assembly just for the sole purpose of making him apologize in front of the whole school. He cried the entire time. When I was in middle school over 14 years ago, our principal got arrested in school for stealing kids' Adderall and Ritalin. This was back when, if you took medicine, you had to go to the office to have it given to you. Parents were wondering why their kids' meds were running out before the script ended. When it was being given to their kids by the staff, they installed cameras without his knowledge and caught him. Frost Middle School. We had a senior, male student in my high school who knocked up a freshman and the Spanish teacher within like a week of each other. Dios mío. You mean, Dios mío. A girl got pregnant and told everyone the father was our English teacher. Turns out, no one even knows who the father is, her included. I've posted it before, but having a hard time finding it. Anyways, an English teacher slapped a kid in class and retired that week. The dream of plenty a teacher. Isn't it a dream for us all? 2 years ago, a senior brought in a Rex doll for Secret Santa. He then brought it to the senior room and essentially had a fake bang bang with it with 20 other people. That's just group masturbation with extra steps. Chemistry teacher spilled mercury in the lab at my high school. She tried to clean it up herself, which only further contaminated the lab, and didn't tell anyone about the spill. She was arrested, and it cost the school $60,000 to have it cleaned up. Don't know what happened regarding her charges. Happened at my school too. Another kid and I had to clean the chemistry lab for detention in 7th grade. He spilled about a cup of mercury, stored in an open beaker, on the floor. Science teacher made us clean it up by scooping it up with index cards. This was in the late 80s. Never reported and absolutely no one gave a shit. Completely different time, man. Not a scandal, but my entire high school was put under lockdown because there was a rabbit squirrel on campus. A bunch of seniors were having a graduation party in the woods. One of them passed out drunk, rolled into a 6-inch deep culvert and drowned. They didn't notice he died until morning. Edit. From the comments. Ducking hell. Just how common is this sort of thing? The biology teacher was having an affair with the principal. Yeah, my principal was having sex with every teacher. I was homeschooled though. This was 10 years ago. My first day of high school. I get home after school and my mom is watching the news. A senior killed his social worker with a chainsaw and then stabbed his mom a couple times. After that he went for a walk and listened to music. They caught him all bloody and everything. Teacher shut a kid's deck during my senior year. He showed a few people the video. Then he proceeded to move to California. She still works there to this day. MP balls make safe calls. This got more attention than I thought, so I have to credit Andrew Schultz for the joke. My sophomore year of high school, the gym teacher's brother gets hired as the computer teacher. Nice guy, was personable, not as much as his brother but still. 2/3 through the year he just vanishes and most of the teachers don't want to talk about it. Eventually it gets out that when he was in college, the computer teacher got into a barroom brawl. During the brawl he took a pool ball, put it inside of a sock, swung it and smashed a guy in the head with it. The guy who get it had permanent brain damage. The school found out midway through the year and that is why they let him go. In my senior year, one of the popular football players was killed while he was driving drunk. It was obviously big news on campus and just a few days after, the school had this giant memorial on our football field dedicated to talking about how great of a guy he was and how he'll be dearly missed. He also got like 5 consecutive pages in our yearbook dedicated to him. But not long before his death, a less popular band student had committed suicide and his death didn't receive nearly as much coverage. He didn't get a giant memorial and he didn't get mentioned in our yearbook. One girl made this giant rant about this double standard on Facebook, and it went viral around our campus. Our school was split. Some people praised her for pointing it out, others were pissed and said that what she did was inappropriate. Even one of my English teachers defended the football player. She said that his death was a tragic accident, whereas the band student chose to die, and that there's a big difference. This girl went on to leave the school because she was getting death threats from friends of the football player, and our entire campus was completely divided over this whole incident. I went to a private high school in the States. One day the kids of the owner of the largest grocery store chain in my area were called out of class. It turned out they had a trunk full of heroin and meth to sell and someone had told the cops. Not my school, but the small town high school where my kids now attend. Married female office admin X's up a female student. Goes to jail for a few years. 10 years later husbands of both women find out they have secret cell phones and have been carrying on a relationship off and on since the older one got out of prison. We had a lot of special needs kids in my school. Most didn't need special care, they were just thrown in normal classes, which I don't think is fair to the kids who may have needed extra help to fit in. Anyways, luckily, the kids in my school were really protective and kind to the SN kids. In my senior year, we voted for one to be the prom king, and we all cheered and stuff. But anyways, there was a video going around of these 2 girls bullying one of the SN kids, and it ended up going semi-viral. The girls were receiving death threats, and the next day at school over 200 students were waiting at the entrance to bully/fight them. Everyone was super nice to the kid that got bullied, and the girls had to get escorted by cops for their protection. TL. Doctor, some girls were going to get beat up because they bullied a special needs kid. Had to be escorted by police for their safety. On the lighter side, the vice principal wrecked his car one night coming back from a school football game. Somehow he had managed to hit a dead cow on the side of the road. For the rest of the year he got subjected to random moos when he walked down the halls.